Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio, so today we've got very big news indeed, ladies and gentlemen. We have got the official release, as we expected, or the official reveal, I should say, of Paradigm Trigger. It wasn't a secret the set was called Paradigm Trigger. We kind of knew that already. And it wasn't really a secret that it was going to have Lugia VSTAR in it. Firstly, we kind of knew that already. And secondly, look at the artwork of the booster pack from Silver Tempest. And the fact that it's called Silver Tempest. But now we've seen a look at Lugia VSTAR. And looking at this set, and don't worry, we're going to look at everything about this set as time goes by. But looking at this set today, it is pretty gosh darned obvious where we need to start. We've got to start with Lugia VSTAR, because oh my goodness, Lugia VSTAR looks amazing! Yeah, this is one that, it's good now, but as time goes by, this is a card that will only get better and better and better. Shout out to the lovely Antoine Boulet for providing the translations, although, as always, I do tend to have a look at these myself nowadays and have a little bit of a gander, because, weirdly, I've gotten to the point after a huge amount of work that I can, so why not, ladies and gentlemen? Why not? So starting off with Lugia V, first thing we need to do is shout out the absolutely ridiculous Mitsuhiro Arita artwork. It's kind of like Arita seeing what some of the other people are doing with Pokemon Vs like Kawaii and gone, oh, challenge accepted. This is an absolutely phenomenal piece of art. Although it is worth noting, the full art, which is a secret rare and isn't usually shown off this early, the full art was available on the website as well, so we have actually got a look at the full art Lugia as well. So if anybody's interested in that one, we can see it up here as well. Jobs are good, and I'll be honest with you, I'm taking the Arita over the full art any day of the week. Now, what we've got here is one colorless energy, read the winds, discard a card from your hand. If you do, draw 3 cards. This is not a good attack. It is not an attack on which you're building a deck. It's fine. It's a nice little bonus. It's turn 1, you're going second, you don't have much else to do, so you know what? Why not actually just draw some cards? And I like this. I like having emergency attacks that aren't particularly great, that there's not a reason why you're playing the deck, but if you've got nothing else to do, it will work quite nicely. You know what? For that, I like it. It's not a reason to play the card or anything silly like that, but it is actually not too bad, ladies and gentlemen. It's a nice little bonus, if nothing else. Cool? Cool. Now, as for the main attack on Lugia V, what we've got is 4 colorless energy, 130 damage. You may discard a stadium in play. Yeah, it's not good. It's way too expensive. Way too expensive. Cannot get on board with that at all. Don't like it. Boo, hiss, etc. Yeah, not good. Not good, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not worry about this. Let's head on over to the V-Star. Now, the V-Star, unfortunately, not quite the same level of artwork, although it looks pretty cool. And what we've got here is 280 HP, which incidentally is about the maximum we tend to see for Pokemon V-Star. So that's quite nice. And we've got an attack for 4 colorless energy, 220. You may discard a stadium in play. Now, in other circumstances, this Lugia would not be quite good enough. But I'm going to explain all the extra tricks Lugia's got, and I'm going to explain to you why, in fact, this Lugia very much is good enough. Because generally speaking, 4 energy is a little bit too expensive. And sure, don't get me wrong, double turbo is a thing, although it does reduce the amount of damage you do by 20, which isn't ideal. Twin energy, because you're a Pokemon V, is not on the table. So, it's a little bit awkward, because it's a little bit expensive, and 220 is actually the magic number to KO Pokemon V, which is pretty good. But then again, when we're looking at these big V-Star nowadays, we're not asking the question, can they KO Pokemon V? Because they pretty much all can. We're asking the question, can they KO Pokemon V-Star? Because Giratina can. Giratina's attack does a flat 280. That's the number we're looking for. 220 isn't actually enough, and that's a little bit of a problem. Although we'll get to that in a minute. So it's a bit too expensive and it doesn't quite do enough damage. That's not ideal. But we do have the V-Star power here, Star Assembly. During your turn, you may put up to 2 colourless Pokemon that don't have a rule box from your discard pile onto your bench. Oh, that's good. Now, the first time you hear that, you're like, oh, that's quite nice, putting colourless Pokemon from your discard to your bench. That's quite, oh, hang on a second. And then you realise you didn't read the word basic anywhere. And Antoine is amazing at this kind of stuff, but I thought I'd have a look as well just to confirm, and no. It does not say the word basic anywhere. So when you're putting these colourless Pokemon from your discard pile onto your bench, you are doing this, and you're doing it for any Stage 1s, Stage 2s, doesn't matter, ladies and gentlemen. So you're cheating here. You're breaking the rules. You're getting Pokemon that shouldn't be able to be on the bench, and you're getting them on the bench. Now, obviously, my first thought here, as I'm sure it was for a bunch of you, Beaverell. Because it's a nice little draw engine, it's a Stage 1 Pokemon, so you can play this straight from your discard pile onto your bench, and it will allow you to draw until you've got 5 cards in your hand once per turn, and that's all rather lovely. This is nice. Here's the thing, though. The best partner for this, and it does need to be borne in mind that there's going to be all kinds of other things you can do. There's going to be other Pokemon in the future that are revealed and released, that are Stage 1 and Stage 2 colourless Pokemon that fit beautifully here. But as it stands at the moment, the one we really need to focus on is another new Pokemon. It is the new Archeops, because it's got the ability Primal Turbo. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for up to 2 special energy and attach them to one of your Pokemon, and then shuffle your deck. And Archeops is a Stage 2 fossil Pokemon. Generally speaking, they're the most awkward Pokemon to actually get into play, because you can't just go basic Stage 1, Stage 2, which is awkward enough. You've got to go fossil Stage 1, Stage 2. It's a real pain. Not with Lugia's V-Star power. Lugia's V-Star power lets you just go and grab 2 Archeops from your discard pile and bench them. And then go and get 4 special energy. And this is where Lugia starts to turn from, oh, that's interesting, to, oh, that's broken. Because now that 4 energy, yeah, that's not a problem. I can evolve into my Lugia V-Star, grab 2 Archeops from the discard, it's not hard to discard cards nowadays, and then just search for whatever energy I like and attach them. And then we get to the question of, well, what energy are you going for? And there's plenty of good options, don't get me wrong. But straight off the bat, I'm going, oh, powerful colourless energy. It's powerful colourless energy. Because what this does is it means I do an extra 20 damage with my colourless Pokemon. Like Lugia. So now I attach 2 powerful colourless energy, only 2. And I'm now doing 260. Which isn't enough. And then I add a choice bout. And now I'm dealing 290. Yes, obviously you can absolutely just attach 4, but firstly, 1 or 2 of them might be prized, and secondly, if I put all 4 powerful colourless energy onto my first Lugia, it gives me none for my second. My preference here is trying to get 2 powerful colourless energy and a choice bout onto Lugia, so I'm saving 2 powerful colourless energy for the next Lugia, and now all of a sudden I'm hitting 290. And that's a very different proposition. And I told you when I showed this attack a minute ago, I told you there were 2 problems. It was too expensive, and it didn't one-hit KO Pokemon V-Star. But when you combine the V-Star power with Archeops, it does one-hit KO V-Stars. And it's not too expensive. And that's huge. Obviously, Path to the Peak is going to be a problem here. If you're playing against Lugia, Path to the Peak becomes an absolute must, because you're going to need to try and turn off that ability, because it is an ability at the end of the day on a rule box Pokemon. But if Lugia fires with this ability, it's just ridiculous. You're going to see people playing 3 or 4 Archeops in this deck, just so they can discard them nice and early, and off you go. Oh, and let's not forget that Sinnoh Temple is also going to be a massive pain for Lugia to deal with. It's going to turn all of those energy into just single colourless energy, which is not ideal. It is worth pointing out that your attack does get rid of stadiums, but you need to be able to get the attack off. So Temple of Sinnoh making a powerful colourless energy not do the extra, not the end of the world, you then discard it and you're fine. But if you're relying on something like a double turbo energy, Temple of Sinnoh might stop you even using the attack to begin with. And there's other colourless Pokemon you can use. One that I really like the look of as a little bit of a spicy tech is Porygon Z, the one from Chilling Reign. Because if you attach an energy from your hand to that Pokemon, you can confuse your opponent's active. And of course, if I'm accelerating energy with Archeops, my energy attachment for the turn, I can legitimately use to attach to something like a Porygon Z. And I'm not actually saying that everyone's going to be playing Porygon Z with Lugia. I am using this as a random example of a cool little play that you could do. It's one little play that you could take advantage of. Or you could go and grab yourself a random Altaria, which is immune to Pokemon damage from Pokemon Vs and GXs. So if your opponent's playing a full Pokemon V deck, then you can actually go and grab Altaria, and then all of a sudden your opponent's got a wall through which they can't break. Again, probably not going to be the first play for most Lugia players, but it's the kind of option we've got. And the point about something like this Lugia is, it's not just about the cards you've got now, it's about the cards you can have in the future. That's what makes this so gosh darned exciting. Now, as for special energy, again, there's so many ridiculous options. Obviously, powerful colorless energy is my favorite, but let's not forget gift energy. When the Pokemon is attached to you gets KO'd, you draw until you got 7 cards in your hand. That one could be kind of fun. Or you could go for something like Lucky Energy, whereby when you are damaged by an attack, you get to draw a card. That could be fun. Don't have to get KO'd, still get yourself an energy. And again, it's not just about the special energy we've got now. It's about any special energy we might have in the future that makes this so gosh darned exciting. And Lugia looks great. But Lugia's only going to get better in the future. As we get more colourless Pokemon, Lugia gets better. As we get more fan special energy, Lugia gets better. It doesn't have to be special energy, obviously, but special energy is where a lot of the fun comes in, and obviously Archeops searches for special energy, so you can absolutely use basic energy with Lugia, but the real, it's got to be Archeops, yeah? There are some combos that you get in new sets that are so gosh darned obvious, and Archeops and Lugia is absolutely one of them. It is ridiculous. Lugia, when you first look at the card, goes, okay, fine. And then you read Archeops and you're like, oh no. I'm not sure Lugia's good enough without Archeops. With Archeops, it's nuts. And let's not forget, it might be weak to Lightning, which is actually sneaky relevant, because there's a lot of stuff around at the moment, like Palkia, like Flying Pikachu, which is very, very good and very, very playable, and weak to Lightning. So actually, Lightning weakness is a good weakness to be hitting right now, and this is weak to that as well. But then let's not forget that Dunsparce is still a thing, and you're a colourless Pokemon. So if you're worried about weakness, Dunsparce will absolutely, the one from Fusion Strike, will take away your weakness. And let's not forget that Cheren's Care is still a thing. So if you are about to be KO'd, you can put a colourless Pokemon that has any damage counters on it and all attached cards into your hand. And then if you really want to go a little bit stupid, in the future, maybe the following turn, you could play something like a Marnie, no double supportering, obviously, put all those special energy back into your deck, and then immediately use Archeops to get them back out again. Lugia on its own is fine. Lugia with Archeops and powerful colourless energy and Cheren and Dunsparce gives us a 280 HP Pokemon with no weakness, great healing, that can get one-hit KOs on Pokémon VSTAR and accelerate energy. Yeah, this is an easy 5 Wassy card. Sometimes when I give 5 Wassies, it's a little bit like, oh, am I being too generous? With Lugia, no. No, I'm not being too generous. On its own, Lugia VSTAR is fine. With the support that we've got, Lugia VSTAR is ridiculous. Do bear in mind that this is going to be coming out in November in Silver Tempest, and Powerful Colourless Energy will be rotating at some point early next year. But in the meantime, we can be playing, ladies and gentlemen, and even getting rid of powerful colorless energy is not going to break this and make it rubbish, but it will make it harder to one-hit KO V-Stars, and that will be a slight bit of a problem. So that's the new set, that's the new Lugia, and we haven't seen Regieleki and Regidrago. As soon as they're revealed, of course, there will be videos on this channel, and in fact, from here until when this releases, don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be bringing all the news to you, so if you've not subscribed, now might be a rather nice time to do so. But now, ladies and gentlemen, it's over to you guys. I want to know what you think about this card. I want to know what you think about Paradigm Trigger. I want to know anything you want to tell me. So go nuts in the comment section, would you? But be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWasi. That's where we talk Pokemon and card games and Pokemon card games and all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can join a Discord to chat some Pokemon, get weekly bonus pods, or answer all of your questions, have a lot of fun, and get shout-outs like the lovely Twilord, who is our biggest patron over there at the moment. Thank you, Twilord, for being a very lovely person, and I chat to them on Twitter quite a bit, and I can confirm they are a very lovely person, and thank you very much for the support. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.